Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. I'm back with another Question the Narrative video today. And today's topic is going to be a quote, fun topic that I just came across the other day in a movie. So let's get to it. The question is, was Judas Iscariot the first vampire? Before you go jumping in the comments, I just want to tell you, I am approaching this with a healthy skepticism. I do not think that Judas Iscariot was the first vampire. I do, however, think that it's really interesting and I like looking at legends and folklore. And so that's what I'm going to do with you today. And it's actually something that I came across in a movie. I don't know if you've ever seen the Librarian movies. This one is called The Librarian, The Curse of the Judas Chalice. And in this one, it is revealed that the original vampire was Judas Iscariot. And in the movie, it's explained that he became the first vampire as a punishment for his betrayal of Jesus and then for his subsequent hanging himself on the cross. And, I decided, what? I'm going to look and see if this is actually a real legend or if this is just something that they made up for a movie. So while I was still watching it already, I was on my phone trying to see if I could find something about it. And there are a few things about this legend. Not a whole lot, but still enough that I thought I wanted to share it with you. I specifically think it's interesting, though, and this is explained in the movie, that if you're at all familiar with vampire legends. So in the movie, it is explained, and I believe that also in the legend it's explained, and we'll get to that later. The reason that vampires cannot stand silver is because of the 30 silver coins that Judas received for his betrayal of Jesus Christ. Obviously, then, that would explain why vampires cannot stand the sight of the cross, because it is a reminder to Judas and then to all of his, quote, children for what he did. The fact that they are also repelled by holy water and even injured by holy water should also be self-explanatory in this case. I find it really interesting that as I'm recording this video, there's this really spooky thunderstorm going on outside. And I'm not, the topic itself doesn't scare me. I'm amused by it, but yeah, I just think it's funny that I have thunder going on in the background around me and like rain downpouring. But anyway, moving on. And also what's very interesting is that it is, according to this legend, the wood of an aspen tree that must be used to stake the vampire through the heart, and that is because that is the wood that was used of the cross that Jesus was crucified on. So the way that those were all tied in with this legend, I thought, okay, yeah, I do want to look into this. And like I said, I did not find much at all on this legend, even though it supposedly has been around since 843 AD. But I just wanted to share with you what I discovered. In case any of you have ever heard about it, or if you wanted to look into it yourselves, maybe you'll find more than what I've been able to. So first of all, let's just read a relevant passage. It's Matthew 27, verses 3-5. Then when Judas, his betrayer, saw that Jesus was condemned, he changed his mind and brought back the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders, saying, I have sinned by betraying innocent blood. They said, what is that to us? See to it yourself. And throwing down the pieces of silver into the temple, he departed and he went and hanged himself. And as usual, I'm just going to read some portions of this article, but I'm going to leave a link in the description for you to read it at your disposal if you would like to. But it says, and this is on discoverhubpages.com. And I'm sure that you can hear the rain in the background, but, just adding some ambiance, right? In a very old book that I purchased in Jerusalem, the story of God's punishment for Judas Iscariot is revealed. I believe the book to be authentic. It is leather-bound and was written by a Catholic monk in the year 843 AD. I purchased it in an old bookstore on a dusty alley in Jerusalem, and it took me several years before I was able to read it. You see, it was written in Aramaic, which is said to have been the language of Jesus Christ. I was able to get a professor in New York to translate it for me in exchange for him being able to keep a copy of the book. Now I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to say that I have tried looking more into this book of Aluga, and I have not been able to find anything on it. I found one other article that mentions it, and there was a link to it, and then I thought, oh wow, it's finally going to send me somewhere to show me this book, and it just brought me back to it. I don't think it was this particular article, but it was this website and another article about it. So I have not been able to really find anything on the book of Aluga. There is some very interesting things, though. I decided that I was going to just look up what the word Aluga means, and the word Aluga is actually a Hebrew word, and it is used in the Bible in Proverbs 30:15, and we'll get to that in a minute, but let's just go back and read some more of what this says. The monk named Aid tells the Hebrew legend in the book that God punished Judas Iscariot after Judas hanged himself by restoring life to him, and that God cursed him to live until the last days. God is said to have told Judas that he would fear the sun and the light of day, and that he would roam the night. He went on to tell Judas that the life is in the blood, and that blood from living humans would be the only thing Judas would ever feed on again. The book does not say anything about it having to be the blood of Christians. Now, this right here is a red flag, because God would not create something and then tell them to feed on human blood. So, anyway, let's just continue reading anyway to see what it says. The book does say that God told Judas that you will never find the comfort of death. Nothing will kill you or your kind, but you will seek the darkness and live in dark, moist places, wishing that you could taste water again, but it will never cross your lips. You will walk through the many years in front of you, remembering what you have done and what has been done to you in return, and you will know that your end will be in a burning lake of fire that will never go out. God told Judas that he knew Judas would have many offspring, and that they too would be cursed, the same as Judas, to be creatures of the night and to feed only on blood. God is said to have told Judas that wine or sweet water will never cross your lips again. God went on to tell Judas that in the end of days, that Judas and all his offspring, this is just a repeat of what it was just. Okay, anyway, I'll just read it anyway. Will be cast into a burning lake of fire along with Lucifer and his demons, where you will remain forever. The book does not tell how the offspring of Judas would be created or where they would come from. But it does say that Judas would have many offspring, and they would be cursed the same as Judas. God told Judas that anything to do with Christ or Christians would be an aversion to Judas and his kind, including silver. God is said to have told Judas that you betrayed my son for silver, and that silver will betray you. The book does not explain what this means exactly, and it does not say anything of why God created a vampire race. And again, I'm not going to put God in a box, but a vampire race is evil. God would not create a vampire race. Anyway, the word vampire does not appear in the book, but several references to creatures of the night are made. And this author then comes to the same conclusion about why God would have created a race of beings to feed on the blood of humans. That in itself, I don't agree with that. But I am going just to go back to the word Aluga, because it is called the Book of Aluga, and I just wanted to see if that actually meant anything. And so I told you I would go over this with you. And Aluga, it means horse leech, a bloodlusting monster. The earliest reference to a vampire appears in the Bible, where it is called an Aluga. So if you look here, it says that it's in Proverbs 30:15, and we'll get to that in a minute, because right away I was just skeptical. I'm like, a vampire in the book of Proverbs? All right, well, we'll get to that in a minute. She has 2 daughters who continually cry, "Give, give." Jewish traditions about vampires vary over history. Sometimes they are regarded to be demonic spirits. Other times they are described as a type of witch. The best description appears in the Sefer Hasidim, where the creature is understood to be a living human being but can shapeshift but can shape change into a wolf. It can fly by releasing its long hair and will eventually die if prevented from feeding on blood, I can't read today, for a long enough time. Once dead, a vampire can be prevented from becoming a demon by being buried with its mouth stuffed with earth. So, let's go over to Proverbs. Proverbs 30:15 says, "The leech has 2 daughters, give and give. 3 things are never satisfied. 4 never say enough." So, at first glance, I'm like, I don't see anything at all about a vampire in here. And, I just don't. So I decided, well, I'm just going to go to Hebrew and just see if it is actually the word aluka, like it claims to be. And it's very similar. It says la luka. So, okay. And it says that it means the leech. If we go down, or is it up? There is a very interesting commentary, though, that I wanted to share with you. And for verses 15, it says, "Having spoken of insatiate cupidity, the writer now introduces 4 things which are insatiable. The form of the apothegm is climacteric, mounting from 2 to 3, and thence to 4, like the famous passage in Amos 1:3. Verse 15, "The horseleech hath 2 daughters, crying, Give, give." The word crying is not in the Hebrew, which says, "The aluka hath 2 daughters, give, give." The insatiable appetite of this creature is represented by 2 words, which are personified as daughters, whom the mother has produced and dearly loves. This word aluka is not found again in the Old Testament, but in later Hebrew and in Aramaic it means leech or bloodsucker, and so it is translated by the Septuagint and by St. Jerome sanguisuga. The word is derived from a root which in Arabic means to adhere. There are several kinds of leeches common in Palestine, and their bloodthirsty nature is well known. It seems quite simple and quite satisfactory to accept the word thus, and to see in the veracity of the leech an example of the greed further developed in the following clauses. But commentators have been contented with this explanation, and have offered various suggestions which are either unnecessary or inadmissible. Thus the Talmud considers aluka to be an appellation of hell, and the 2 daughters to be the power of the world and heresy. Some of the fathers regard it as a symbol of the devil and his dominion, others as a personification of cupidity with its 2 offshoots, avarice and ambition. Some moderns deem it to mean a vampire or bloodthirsty demon, a ghoul, in accordance with Eastern myth. But, as we have said, such interpretations are unnecessary and unsupported by sufficient authority. The allusion to the tastes of the leech is found elsewhere. And so that's what I just wanted to share with you. I don't think there was anything else there. No, that was it. So I know that this video was rather short and sweet, if you can call it sweet, I don't know. But I just wanted to share it with you because, again, I just found it intriguing, and I'm curious if any of you have ever heard anything about this. But otherwise, that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one down below. And if you like my work and would like to support my page or my channel, I always say page because I'm used to having a blog. Anyway, I will leave a link in the description for my YouTube membership, or you can just click on it right on my channel page. There I do have a page. And have a great day.